One thing that's happening to me in this recent playthrough of the game I'm doing for YouTube is that I'm coming to appreciate the personal stakes involved in the beginning arc of the game. Gabe Logan and especially Leon Zing are put in vulnerable situations and must use their wits and skills to move forward. They all but explicitly cut ties with the agency and are now rogue operatives opposing the agency's plans while simultaneously being chased by them. This whole crash site arc of the story is actually pretty nicely done, because it leverages the twist at the end of the previous game into a plot that allows the player to feel more impact over what's happening with the characters. There were moments in the original game where things went wrong for Logan and he had to try and inventively shimmy his way out of a bad situation, but now there are a lot of added layers to the juiciness of the plot, because, first of all, as I said, they're on their own, and it's always more interesting to follow people going against the odds from the start, rather than people who are basically following orders with at least partial backing from a vague organization, and just have to adjust to hiccups here and there during the execution of their mission. Secondly, the drive to do these things they're doing, to work their way into the crash site of their plane to retrieve these data disks, is on them. They're the ones calling the shots of their own actions, so even though the player doesn't get to see much of Logan and Zing's personalities outside very brief moments of emotion here and there, the fact that they have such a specific goal, a MacGuffin by any other name, but honestly kinda better than just a bare MacGuffin because it has the first game's plot as weight to back up its meaning here. It means that their actions are fully psychologically their own as well, which is way better as a channel to make the player give a shit about what's going on. Thirdly, this specific goal itself, the data disks, are means to several different ends. They represent different things to each of the parties involved, and they are the end goal of the villains as well. This makes every basic element of the plot crystal clear to anyone playing the game. Everybody wants to reach the crash site. Everybody wants those data disks. Why? Well, then you have to look into each of the characters' motivations, and you open up the possibility to have all these interactions laid out revolving around this thing, this central element that is very simple to understand. Also, the agency was a plot element that was kind of left hanging at the end of the original game. I'm glad that even though the game has brought some characters out of nowhere for the second, as far as the main plot is concerned, it feels actually very solid as a continuation. Furthermore, the injection of an element of suspense and vulnerability in the presentation, composition, starting levels with low health, etc., makes the game stand out as its own beast as well, even in spite of its many similarities. Though, I don't know if this is the best plot of all time, Syphon Filter 2 tries. It tries a lot, and I appreciate the hell out of it for trying a lot to be more than Syphon Filter 1 was. I'm also not certain that it manages to be more, as in I'm not sure the game encompasses everything about Syphon Filter 1 and also has extra stuff on its own, but I do think it's different, and the intersection is more than large enough to make this a solid follow-up to the first game, in basically every way you can think of.
Archer, have you taken care of Logan?
Not yet. We're working on it. He's proving troublesome.
I want him finished, even if you have to blow up the whole state to do it.
We're on it. Out. Get some men down there. I want him taken out now.
Gabe, are you there?
Leon, you okay? It's about time you checked in.
I've been better. My adrenaline shot is wearing off, but I've got enough strength to come and get you.
All right. I'm almost to the crash site now. Once we have those data disks, we can bargain with the agency for your vaccine.
I'm on the way.
Okay, welcome to the train level of the game. There's Archer's chopper there, but he's not gonna bother us for now. Let's go down here because there was a crate. We could see it from the cutscene. But anyway, the game has to give us an excuse to... Oh, it's just flak jacket. Okay, well, if you need it, it's there. The game has to give us an excuse to actually move through the train, because, you know, Otherwise, you could just wait until the train got to the destination. That's usually what people do when they catch trains. But it does bring into question an interesting conundrum, which is like, who's like, is there anybody driving the train? Is the train just acting on its own? Because you're the one who has to stop the engine. Like, whoa, somebody threw a grenade. Like, do you have to like? Are archers bad guys? The ones driving the train? Do you have to take out the commander or something? Or I don't know, man. But it's never explained, and kind of doesn't make a lot of sense. Man, that guy's bothersome. Wow, that's a lot of range for a bad guy. Let's jump. While that other guy jumps as well. Tricked you. Well, anyway. The music in this level kind of sounds more like the music you would expect from Syphon Filter 1 or whatever. But the sound effects for the train are so loud you can't even hear it. Checkpoint there. This is... I don't know, man. This mission... I mean, I talked about it in the preamble. It feels like filler. You know? Can't even talk over all the action happening. It's just a straight shot. I've talked about how Syphon Filter 2 missions are a bit like straight pathways to the end, and there's no better example of that than this one. But that's not all. Because it gets worse. This is not a particularly interesting mission, as you can see, but whatever, there you go. Don't have much to say, and you can see from the time of the video that the mission itself doesn't have much to say as well. Now, it's the tunnel part. Once again, I bring it to question. How can Logan see anything? He's not wearing gear of any kind that helps him see in the dark. He doesn't have IR gear. Doesn't seem to anyway. Not in his model, at least. Maybe it's like a contact lens that allows him to see in the dark. It's cool, but, you know, I feel like they had an interesting premise for the level, and they thought it out like, oh, what if Logan's on a train? But then they didn't have a lot of content to go along with it. I don't know. It's what it is.